This is a little video about what's the best diet to eat for nutrition. Alright, so there's a cat over here. Hey, that broiler? Bebe's chasing the rat.
Bebe, what you doing?
Bebe broiler. It's very dry here in South Australia. Extremely dry. We've got a bell pepper over here as well. Capsicum, we call it in Australia. Capsicum. So this is, what we're going to say is about discussion of Freelee's diet change. She has disowned the raw till 4 lifestyle, even though she's made probably close to $1 million. That's my template, raw till 4. Fruits, starches and sugars. Freelee says it doesn't work. It's a trap. Cooked food's a trap. Raw till 4 is bad, even though she sells the raw till 4 ebook still and made a lot of money. Will she offer refunds? Will she offer refunds for recommending a diet of rice, fruits and sugar? Will Freelee walk her talk and say, hey guys, I was wrong, here's a refund? I'm not going to sell the raw till 4 thing anyway anymore. She won't do that because she's all about the money. She's from Sydney, can't blame her. Eastern Suburbs girl. Anyway, this is the deal. Alright, we're here in Australia, South Australia. These are some Australian mangoes. They're not organic, these are conventional, sprayed with heavy pesticides. That's just what it is in Australia. You can't avoid it. If you want to eat fruit, that's just how it is. Organic, you're not going to be getting them. Where I live in South Australia, there's organic mangoes. Are just, you know, there's a few boxes a year. These ones are pretty good quality. I would say these ones are grown with less pesticide than average because they taste pretty good. One mango, $3.50. $3.50. And that's mates rates. That's a very, very good price. $3.50. This big mango's here, $6. $6 Aussie. Bananas. These are conventional, but they look sort of semi-organic. They taste really good. They're from New South Wales. Even when they're spotty like this, they still fetch a premium price here in Australia because we're an island country, so nothing's imported. This is all Australian-grown produce. In the US, you do have a benefit because a lot of stuff comes from Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Ecuador, Puerto Rico, etc., Jamaica, so things are cheaper. This is even the cane here is Australian cane sugar. This is $1.80 for 2 kilos. So for 8,000 calories, $1.80. $3.50. We've got 750 grams of rice. This rice is really, really good. It's really fresh, tastes really good. This is great. It's a fresh crop. It's going off for Coles right now. This is really good stuff. This is what Freelee eats behind the closed doors. I guarantee you. Freelee can't live without sushi rice. All right, this is her favourite rice. It's my favourite rice. It's a beautiful rice. These as well. Beef. These are actually vegan. And these are fantastic as well if you're, a uni student or want something on the go. They're not that cheap though. Ramen's not that cheap compared to rice. White rice, white sugar, that makes you feel really good. I have the soy sauce, a bit of tinned beetroot, that's really cheap as well. Really, really good. A little pussycat. These cats are feral, grown in the backyard. This is another good little snack, cream corn, super low fat. How much fat's in that? There's hardly anything in there. Hardly any fat in that. It's fantastic. How much fat's in rice? Hardly anything. Look at that. That's why he makes... How much fat in the bananas? How much fat in sugar? 0 fat. Beetroot, 0 fat, pretty much. Mango, minimal fat. Minimal is sufficient. These would probably be a bit more fatty. Fattier. A little bit more, but not too much. Still pretty lean. So, people out there, I'm going to follow this Freelee's advice. I'm just doing raw food now. Man, that's going to end you up with anemia. Anyway, let's switch the video. I'm going to sit down. Let's do a talking head video. Let's get into it. But I'm just going to show you, this is how a daily diet looks like here. This costs $45 for these bananas and these mangoes. There's probably one mango missing that Natasha ate just before we shot this video. A bell pepper fell off the back of the trailer. We could have the fruit and veg on the trailer there. So yeah, it's $45 Australian. Natasha paid for it. She pays for foods. But you got to have fruit. There's no doubt about it. Fruit is fantastic, and these bananas are just crushing. They're awesome. They look bad. No one else will probably buy them. They put it up in the bin. Yeah, they still fetch a premium price. Let's sit down. Let's get into it. And I'm just going to show you there the visuals. Let's talk about what is the best diet, which is what you see before you. These are the ultimate foods. If you look at my blood tests, my performances, look at my girlfriend's physiques, my lean physique, every girlfriend's ever with me. Look how I transformed Freelee's body. We've got a lean and healthier, and now I'm not sure she's doing. She's going a bit AWOL. But fruit, you got to have your fruit. You got to have your sugar, and you got to have your starches. See, that's the holy trinity: starch, sugars, and fruits. I mean, fruit is sugar, but it's got your nutrients, it's got your X factor, your enzymes. It's got, you got to have fruit, man. Fruit's just, good fruit. Not fruit that tastes like Vaseline and pesticide. Fruit that actually tastes like fruit. If the fruit tastes good, it means it's got minimal pesticide on it. You can't grow good quality fruit with a lot of pesticide. It won't taste good. That's why you have a lot of Aussie mangoes. You bite into them and you throw it because you're just like, I can't eat that. It's like Vaseline and DDT. You know, you just can't eat it. These mangoes actually taste like a mango. I would call these a 5 or 6 out of 10. 10 out of 10, you sit down, you cry. They're so good. These are about a 5 or a 6. You know, pretty decent. Edible mangoes. As good as you're going to get from the shops and markets. And you know, anyway, let's sit down. Let's talk about this stuff. Let's dive deep. Here we go. This is the hat I had in 2008 when I first started my YouTube channel back in 2008. I had no intention, no knowledge, no understanding that YouTube and social media would become a career for me. So over 5,000 videos wearing this hat uploaded since, or I should say in ownership of this hat. You know, what's that? Okay, I'll be quick. Bananas, mate. You gotta have bananas. People say, you crazy, Durianrider. I'm bananas, mate. Smells like a banana. Tastes like a banana. It's very hard to get good bananas in Australia, which is crazy, but yeah. A good banana, you want to eat it. You're not going, no. It's a sort of, I should eat a piece of fruit a day. Good banana, you like, man, this is good stuff. New South Wales bananas. New South Wales grow the best bananas in Australia. Coffs Harbour in general. Soil there, a bit of volcanic action. Better quality minerals. More minerals in the food, the better it tastes. The sweeter the fruit is. The more minerals in the soil, the sweeter the fruit is. Simple as that. Simple as that. Simple as that. If the soil is poor mineralization, the fruit is not sweet. It's like, what is that? What is that? Yeah. You see a lot of farms, they don't do enough rock dust, not enough mineralization in the soil, and the fruit is just like, ugh, and then the plants are weak, getting attacked by more bugs, so they use more pesticide, and the flavor's just like, you produce the fruit, but you bite into the apricot and you're like, what is that? I just got ripped off. You know? Not ripped off, but, you know, sort of ripped off. I mean, you bought an apricot, but it wasn't edible. Freelee's new diet, she's going all raw. I guarantee you she's not eating all raw. Alright, so any of you people out there, and this isn't a video to trash Freelee, this is just a real-time video. Alright, I talk real world here. Alright, this is real advice. This is not like bias, or this is just real talk. Okay. There's no way on earth Freelee is going to stick to a 100% raw food diet. I know that, because I lived with her for so long. Alright? Back in the day, you know, she was telling people she was eating all raw food and she was eating cooked foods and rices and stuff like that. And so was I, to a degree there. And I was like, hey, we can't do this. We can't be saying we're all raw, you know, and we're eating like potatoes and vegan sushi rolls and rice and stuff like that. We can't be doing this. And using sugars. And she's like, well, but that's, you know, that's our business, you know, 30 pounds a day. I'm like, I don't care. And I do care. I do care about giving people the best advice. So let's give people the truth and say, hey. And I started pouring sugar in my cereal on YouTube, and people were like, oh my God, this is crazy. You know, even back in 2010, you know, doing recipes and stuff like that, promoting McDougall, just telling people the truth. You know, the truth is that a raw food diet alone is fantastic if you live in a situation where, you know, you're just in an amazing fruit ecosystem, where it's just, you got anything you want. You got grandma chummers, you got the best bananas, your volcanic soil. It's just, you eat it and you're like, man, this is so satisfying. Most people do a raw food diet. I want to get leany. I want to get skinny. I want to get, you know, Freelee. How did Freelee get into a raw food diet? She wanted to get skinny. You know, simple as that. Most women, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But let's just be real. It's not about the environment. It's not about the health. It's not about any of that. It's just about what makes me slim. All right? What makes me wake up in the morning and not have it as puffy a face. It's aesthetic based. All right? It's not about health, man. Okay? If you're into health, you don't have silicone breast enhancement. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying though, if you're under the guise of health, you wouldn't still have a boob job, right? If I was under the guise of health, I wouldn't live in a city, right? I'm into health. I like being healthy, but it's not like my thing. If I was dead into health, I wouldn't be using 5G. I wouldn't be using 4G. I wouldn't be using internet. I I wouldn't be living next door to some smokers here and there. I wouldn't be living near a main road here, near McGill Road and stuff. I'd be living probably Tasmania or somewhere on some island, tropical air, okay? So let's not pretend I'm doing this to my health. Come on. I mean, everyone wants to be healthy. No, not everyone, sorry. I want to be healthy, but my whole life isn't just about health. You know? Does that make sense? So if someone says, I'm doing raw food because white rice is poison, but I've got a pair of bolt-ons, which is fine, that's BS, isn't it? That's BS, all right? So that's not just for Freelee, that's for all those girls out there who have the bolt-ons, and maybe they're a dancer or a stripper background, and they've got this ED, and they're doing all this crazy stuff, and ayahuasca, and I feel that is a bit of a psychosis, and stemming from not eating enough carbohydrate, and then you go in spacey la-la land, and it's easy to get into, all right? So I'm not against, for the record, I'm not against girls getting boob jobs, all right? I'm not against it, but I'm not against, I'm against Botox. I remember when Freelee was doing Botox and stuff like that, I was like, that's, you know, the boobs is enough. Like, the Botox, I don't think it's, you know, injecting into the face this botulism or whatever it is, I don't think it's a good idea. You know, I don't think it's a good idea. For any women out there, like, I just don't recommend. And it doesn't even look good. I don't think Botox looks good. Now, I know it's very popular, the lip fillers and stuff like that. I'm not into it, man. Like, there's no guy in the world who's like, you should do Botox. That's not. I don't do it for guys. Yeah, you do. It's okay, and that's fine. Yeah, it's fine. We like looking attractive to the opposite sex. It's just, even if you're in a relationship, that's who we are. We're human. I don't do it for anyone. Oh, come on. Stop the nonsense, people. You know, this is real talk. No script, no jump cut, just real talk that actually educates people. So this is for the video, I'm making this video for people out there who are going to be sitting in Wyoming or Kansas or Nebraska in a cold winter and they'll be eating, you know, green starchy bananas that taste crap and eating some strawberries from, you know, California that taste like a bunch of pesticide, and it's I'm just doing a raw food diet because Freelee's doing it, because Christine's doing it, because they're not doing it, man. They're not doing it all raw, okay? Eat mostly fruit. Eat a lot of fruit. But if you need a backup plan, if you want to have some rice for dinner, a vegan, low-fat meal, have it, man. Have it. You need to have it. Now, if you're in a situation where you're in Davao City, Philippines, where you got some of the best fruit in the world, if you're living up at Eden, there's a place called Eden in Davao. So on top of this volcano, you're literally on a volcano. The fruit that grows in Eden is like some of the most mind-blowing stuff out there. I had a meringue there recently, a couple of years ago. My friend Derek Durianrider bought this meringue one time, and you almost see little tears coming to my eyes. It was so good. It was so big. And Derek's just like, you gotta try this. And I'm just like, oh my God, man. Yeah, that's the fruit. I ate one fruit. I think it was October 2017, 3 years ago. I still remember it like it was yesterday. You know, that's fruit. So if you're living in that situation where you got that on tap, then I probably wouldn't want to eat rice or sugar. Because I'm like, I don't need to, because I got all this stuff. You know, not that the rice and sugar are bad. It's just that I love rice and I love my sugars. But this meringue, man, it just satisfies like nothing else, right? I've got this little bird, little honey-eater bird in my room right now, in a little cage. One of my cats caught it. It's lost its tail feathers. It's a fledgling. You know, I'm feeding it up little worms and stuff, mealworms and sugar water. And it will only eat when it's hungry, right? You put the worm in there. When it's hungry, it just pounces it within 2 seconds. Bang! Gets the worm, head shake, it gobbles it down. Feed it 3 worms and it's done. It won't eat anymore until maybe another 20 minutes or 30 minutes later. The hormones switch off. The leptin, ghrelin, just done. Food, no, I don't want to eat. It's like going to the toilet. When you need to go to pee-pee or poo-poo, you have an urge. And once you're done, the urge is gone. The chemicals, the biochemistry, same with sex or whatever. Like, you can only have, you know, so much. You can only have so much sleep before your body goes, I don't want to sleep anymore. So it's the same with the carbohydrates. You have this like off switch. So when you have the best quality fruit in the world, you know, you can do a fruit diet. You can do a raw food diet, you know. But who is that? Who is that? You know, that's not many people, man. That's not many people. That's not even Freelee, where she lives up in Cape Tribulation. Now, Cape Tribulation, I've lived up there 2001, 2002, 2004, 2005. Spent a lot of time in Cape Trib, sleep on the beach there, staying in PK backpackers, It's a beautiful place. The fruit quality, you know, I had one of the best jackfruits ever in my life from Digby's farm there. It's back on Rikers Road, and that was an incredible jackfruit. $2. That was back in, I think, maybe December 2004. It was an incredible jackfruit, you know. $2, that big, a soft, chewy jackfruit, and it was amazing. It wasn't crunchy, it was a soft, chewy. You know, so if you're getting that level of fruit every meal, you can do a raw food diet, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Is that going to be superior to Raw Till 4, to my program, my template? You know, which I sort of stole off Harvey Diamond, Fit for Life. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, but Harvey Diamond says don't overeat, you know, don't do sugar, blah, 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 you know, eat small, avoid eating too much. But it's the same template. Fruit for breakfast, lunch, cooked starches for dinner. That's like the thing. All right, so I guess it's not really my template. It's Harvey Diamond, and maybe he got it from Natural Hygiene, and who knows. But it's just a fantastic template. Fruit for breakfast and lunch, starches for dinner, sugar. I added the sugar thing in it, I guess, and the cycling, and it just makes women's bodies so good. Men lose a lot of weight, all right, and that's good for a lot of guys, but it's also not good for a lot of guys who want to, you know, be swole and you know, you can use anabolics and stuff like that, and you have great effect. But if your kidneys live that way, but yeah, so this video is people out there, man. Like this brings me back to 2010. When Free's like, no, we can't tell people we eat cooked food, you know, rice and stuff. And I'm like, well, we have to, you know, we have to. Because it's just not, I don't want some people out there starving themselves and going off the vegan wagon and just hating the experience. We used to have a joke, me and Freelee. The fastest way to get someone to get off a vegan lifestyle is to promote 100% real food diet. That's the fastest way. Because it's so impossible for most people out there. Even the disciplined of the disciplined, the ones who, like myself, or even Freelee back in the day, where I did like raw food for 5 years. Well, I didn't eat any cooked food, unless you include spices and certain nuts. But I had no rice and no bread, nothing, you know, for almost 5 years. But my performance has suffered because I was so disciplined. You know? I was getting, you know, borderline anemia because I wasn't always getting the carbohydrates I need to do the work I was trying to do. Right? So I was getting calories, I was getting fat. But if you're getting calories from nuts and seeds to make up for the deficit of carbohydrate, you're going to get anemia. Because what did your red blood cells live on? Sugar, sucrose, glucose, fructose. You know, you need those sugars. So you can be raw, but have anemia because you're not getting enough fruit. Or the fruit's not ripe enough, and it's just, you know. So I developed anemia. You know, low normal level of anemia. I was still super, super fit. Fitter than the average person in Australia. But I wasn't as fit as I am now, age 43. I wasn't as fit as I was, you know, prior to doing raw food, where I was getting enough carbohydrates as a vegan. So if you don't get enough carbs, you will get anemia. That's just how it is. Because your red blood cells don't have enough sugar to live. So the body goes, bye-bye, die. That's why you see Freelee's blood levels, her hemoglobin is like low normal. It's like, it could be better. You know, it used to be better. You could see she had more glow. She had more colour in her skin. And I saw a runner girl tonight. I saw a runner, you know, a decent runner. And I said to her coach, I said, this girl, you know, she needs to boost her hemoglobin levels. She wasn't a vegan, she wasn't a raw foodist, but she just looked, for me, from my eyes of experience dealing with thousands of people, she looked like her hemoglobin wasn't optimized. Wasn't as good as it could be, as good as it should be. So my whole theory here is results-based, you know, giving people the best options in any given moment, and that's going to be Raw Till 4. So yeah, I mean, Freelee had this joke, you know, get people on raw food. Freelee used to say back in 2014, 2015, when she was looking like she was pinging, she's, you know, 2016 even, doing really, really well. She was just, we would just laugh at people who are doing 100% raw food diet, and we were just like, you know, it's just a joke. And I think she even did stop selling her raw food book for a bit there, because she's like, this is just going to drop people off the deep end, you know. I don't know why she's flipping on that. Virgo, you know. Virgo getting under carb, who knows. But, you know, I just guarantee you, I put my life on it, that Freelee won't be doing a 100% raw food diet. Right? Even though she might say she is. She's not. Right? She's not. She's driving into Cairns in a little van and getting the vegan sushi rolls. Yeah, she is. And you should too. Right? If you want them, eat them. Right? Eat them for dinner. Get your carbs in. I remember I think it was February 2010, when me and Freelee I'd been raw for like 5 years or so. I got into raw foods back in 2002, 2001. Freelee was about 2007, and you know, and I remember going out with her mum, Lindy. We went to a Don Tolman seminar thing. Don Tolman, he's a funny guy. He's a good speaker, and he's got this big beard. He dyes it black, and he's just got this Texan hat. And he's a good entertainer. He says some good things as well. And so me and Lindy went to Don Tolman seminar, and Freely's like, "Oh, you guys go. I'm just gonna stay home." And I was like, that's a bit weird, but whatevs. Go, no worries. And she was really like, "You going? You sure you're going? You sure you're going?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" You know. And so I went anyway. And then when I got back, I could just tell something was up. And I'm like, "What have you been up to? What have you been doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I had to cook food." And I was like, "What? Really? Serious? Like, really?" She goes, "Yeah." And I said, "What did you have?" You know, she goes, "I had potatoes." And I'm like, "How?" She goes, "I put them in the oven." So you cooked them in the oven? She's like, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, like, how do you feel?" And she goes, "I feel amazing. I feel really good. The digestion's fine." And I said, "How'd they taste?" She goes, "Oh, they tasted incredible," you know. And we were housing this really nice house up in Blamble Heights there. And I was like, "We got any left?" She goes, I don't know if she had any left, but I can't remember what it was, but she made some for me. And I had them, and I was like, holy mama mia, it's my first bite of official cooked food for like 5 years. It was just organic baked potatoes, and it was like one of the best things I've ever eaten. My taste buds were that hungry, you know, that delicate. I was just like, wow, you know. And so we became this like potato connoisseurs, man. We were having Dutch creams and kipflers, and we were just putting them in the oven, baking them up. And we were spending like hours a day in the evening cooking potatoes, like raw, you know, fruit for lunch and dinner. Fruit for breakfast and lunch, and then potatoes for dinner. And then we started having some sauces with them, and you know, and stuff like that. And then it was really, really good. A good experience. And now I started having some oats. I found these raw oats from Four Leaf, which is an organic farm in South Australia. They make some good oats. So I had these raw oats for dinner, because I was like, well, the potatoes is great, but it takes so much time to cook all these potatoes and prep them and bake them, and you know, there's two of us and we're hungry for it. And so I started having raw oats. And then we went to another house in April 2010, and there was rice in the pantry. You know, there's a blue bag of sunrise. And I'm like, hey, we should just, you know, I want to try some rice again. I haven't had rice for 5 years. And everyone's like, no, rice is shards of glass. It's rice is shards of glass. And I think she maybe threw the rice out. We were having this like funny fight, you know. We were wrestling over this freaking rice. I'm laughing my head off. I'm like, you're insane, man. Rice isn't shards of glass. I'm like, serious? You go smash up a glass jar and eat that. That's not the same as eating some steamed rice, man. And she's just going, yeah, I guess. I'm like, what are you telling yourself, man? This is some serious ED bullshit you're telling yourself. Rice is shards of glass. Cooked food's a trap. It's food, man, and not all cooked food is the same. This is another thing that always got me in the raw food world. Like, I understood clearly that there's cooked food and there's cooked food. You could get a mango that's dried in a dehydrator at 50 degrees. That's cooked. Is that the same as a cooked steak? It's not. Is it cooked food? Yeah. Is it different? Totally. So this raw food became this micro economy. This, like, you know, David Wolfe, Nature's First Law, Steve Arlen, Doug Graham, you know, these guys just created this, like, you know, full-on sort of fun, but it was just money-based. It was purely money-based. Dave Wolfe, man, that dude is a shark when it comes to money. Doug Graham as well, the same. And so it just became this, like, industry, this challenge, and it just attracted people with EDs and stuff like that. I got into raw food because I'd found Harvey Diamond, and I was like, wow, I feel so good eating fruit for breakfast. I feel so much lighter. And then have starches for dinner and just sort of wind down. And then I just sort of got hooked up in this. Now, Paul Nisson was another raw food author back in 2002, The Raw Life. And I remember reading his book and thinking, yeah, this is pretty good. But then he was talking about breatharianism. I'm like, this dude's a space cadet, man. There's no such thing as breatharians. I mean, there's people who claim it, but they're full of... And so I was like, yeah, it's interesting. And I was trying it. And then it became a bit of a challenge. Yeah. My friend Lars was saying, oh, he eats vegan biscuits, Tim Tams and stuff. And I was like, stuff, I'm going to do raw food. I'm going to do this, you know. So for me, being 100% raw, it wasn't really about a weight thing. It was about a challenge. I mean, it was a benefit as a cyclist, but then again, I'm about performance. So once my performance started dying off, I'm like, I ain't doing raw food no more. All right? It wasn't about the weight. you know. And as a guy as well, if you're too lean, it doesn't look good, you know. And so, and can't perform. So that's why I switched, because I was like, I'm performance based. My performance is going down. You know, I'm going back onto this raw till 4 life that I was kicking ass on. So I did raw food more out of a challenge, out of like, you know, identity as well. It's like, oh, you eat just raw food? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And it just became this like identity. And I had a great time doing it. But my performance really suffered, right? And I was just smashing the nuts, man. I was smashing the nuts. And what happens on raw food is you get so hungry, you start to replicate all your favourite cooked food dishes. Like rice. You make rice out of cauliflower and jicama. I remember eating this in a restaurant, a raw food race. I think it was Elena Love, or one of the girls had a restaurant in, I think it wasn't Sebastopol, it was just south of Sebastopol. She had this raw food restaurant. I remember eating this like cauliflower rice. It was something like $10 a bowl or some crazy price. I remember eating it, paying so much. I think it's been like $20. I think I just spent $20 USD on cauliflower, a bit of carrot, and I'm like, oh, this is stupid. And all the people in the restaurant, none of them were athletes, and I was like, this is random. But anyway, it was just good. It was a good experience. California's good times. I cycled my bike on 100% raw from Cedro Woolley down to Los Angeles, Malibu there, on a 100% raw food diet, which is, you know, pretty easy in the US. A lot of nuts, raw bars, Lara bars back in the day when they were sort of raw, and it was good times. But yeah, my performances were really, you know, not as good as they should have been. I rode across Australia on a raw food diet, you know, I rode from Adelaide to Cairns, all raw, mate, so many sultanas. You know, but it was good experience. But looking back now, yeah, a lot of it was discipline fueled, you know, just the challenge. And now, you know, I can ride so much better, so much faster, so much stronger, you know, than I did back then. And I was younger back then. I was hungrier, you know what I mean? I was hungrier with passion and zeal, just that, like, you know, smashing across Australia and riding. But now I can smash it, man. I can smash it so much better. Because the carbohydrate stores are just far superior when you can have, you know, other options besides just fruit. Now, I wish we lived in a fruit culture. You know, that would be fantastic. We don't, though. You know, the fruit culture is definitely dying off more and more. So where we're going in this video, just letting you know, people out there, don't struggle to stay 100% raw. You know, Freelee's not doing it. You know, they're just not doing it. You know, people do it for marketing reasons. You know, they're doing it for a bit of clout, or, you know, ASMR didn't work, or what this didn't work, I'm going to try this and see where this goes. I'm just going to copy fully raw Christie. Like, people, what are you doing? You know, just be original. Just teach what works. Don't even be original. Teach what works. Alright? Raw till 4 works. My template works. Riding your bikes, having your fruits, having your rice, having your sugars, going to bed early. It works, man. Especially if you're a woman wanting to lose weight. Oh my God. I mean, look at all my girlfriends over the years. Look at where Freelee started at. People say, oh, you know, Tasha's she's just naturally beautiful and slim and skinny, and, you know, she's a ballerina, and Tori and all these girls are just, you know, they're just naturally, they work at it, man. They work at it. They eat low fat, they train, they do stuff, all right? Same with Freelee, man. When she came to me, she was like 73 kilos almost at one point. And, you know, I'm about 73, 74 kilos right now, and I'm on steroids. So can you imagine it? 165, 166 centimeters Freelee, 73 kilos on a raw food diet. People were like, what's she eating? She eating Big Macs or something? She wasn't. She was doing it 100% back then. Back in 2007 to 2010 was 100%. I was with her, like, you know, almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you know, year in, year out pretty much. And she was disciplined. You know, she was weight loss driven. She was just like, you know, she wasn't sneaking back then. And then once she learns that she didn't need to be all raw to get her weight goals, which I've been telling her all along, I'm like, you know, just ride your bike more and charge up and smash the hills, and, you know, just do fitness. You know, fitness is what's going to give you the body. And then once she learned that, she started getting the running, and she started getting the riding up the hills, and she got a power meter, and I put the power meter on the bike, which she protested against, but that worked really good for her. She got on Strava, she's doing TTs, and she had a really, really kicking ass body there. You know, which anyone can have, man. Anyone can have. You know, and then people say she's doing liposuction. She was not at all. No way. You can tell someone's doing liposuction because they'll have shredded abs, and then their legs won't be that shredded. They'll be like, what? If your abs are shredded, your legs are like just vascular as heck, right? You can't have shredded abs and sort of puffy looking legs. That's not how it works. Right? It's not how it works. So, not that Freelee ever had shredded abs, which you shouldn't have shredded abs as a woman. You shouldn't. That means your estrogen level is going to be so low, you're going to feel like crap. You're going to feel so bad, so moody, so out of it. It's not going to be healthy. But yeah, again, there's people out there who are going to lie to you. They're doing liposuction, you know, all these girls out there in California doing it, and they just BSing you. So be careful who you listen to, right? Don't listen to people who are going to lie to you, you know, because you're gonna waste your time, you know. You're gonna get misled. And eating disorders, man, it is rife in the vegan community, in the cycling community, the running community, raw food community, and you can tell when someone's got an eating disorder because you'll drop them tips for performance enhancement, and they'll just glaze over. They'll be like, they'll literally leave the conversation. I have this all the time. I'll tell someone what they need to hear. I'll talk about hemoglobin or B12 shots or whatever, hormones, and they just glaze over and they go, you know. And because it's all about weight for them. It's not about performance. It's about what can I do to lose as much weight as possible. It's not about performance. When I've been training with the Kenyan runners, on the bus with the Kenyan runners in Thailand or wherever, and I'll be talking nutrition and performance, and they're just listening. They're just like, and what about this? And this? And this? They actually listen. Because the Kenyans don't run for weight loss. They run to feed themselves. They run for money. So if you said to them, you know, put a stuff of banana in your head for your ear, you run quicker, they'll do that. They literally would do that. You know, if you could trick them into it, they would do that. That if you said drink motor oil, a cup of motor oil a day will make you better. They would do that because it's just so performance focused, and that's what makes them so easy to coach. Because they just listen, but they also get taken advantage of by all of these Euro doctors, don't they? You know, so that's what I mean. The raw food diet, vegan lifestyle, it's just full of people with eating disorders, man. Rampant raging, and that's how I got most of my audience. A lot of my audience posting pictures of being super skinny and just like, I'm just eating fruit and I'm just eating this and this and that. And when I poured sugar in my cereal, remember that video? I think it was like 2013 or 2012, whatever. People lost their chops. I got so many messages. Are you trolling? Is this serious? You have to be trolling, man. People, the Woodstock Fruit Festival crew, and everyone's like, people are freaking out. And I'm like, this is performance-based nutrition, man. Your body runs on sugar. And even still today, people are like, oh, sugar's bad. When did Freelee, I keep using Freelee because she's on social media, she's fine, you know, you can go back to the old videos, current videos. When did Freelee look her absolute best? The most glow, perfect ratios. You can take her away to bolt-ons. She still had a really, really good physique, right? Heaps of girls that got bolt-ons, they don't look that good. You know, like, you know, they're not going to be, just because you get a pair of bolt-ons doesn't mean you're going to be having a Victoria's Secret model body, you know. Now, I'd say that Freelee did back then, you know, when she was too short for it, but still, you know, hypothetically, she was taller, she had that physique. She earned that physique. She ate and trained that physique, bolt-ons or not. And that's when she looked the best. Her hemoglobin was really good. You know, her mood was pretty good as it ever was. And, you know, she had that glow. She had energy. She had fitness. She had tenacity. Now, I see someone who's like, you know, very, very poor communication skills, can't talk to certain people, just triggered, yeah. Even Natasha left a comment on, I think it was on TikTok, saying there's some runner guy doing 100 miles a week or something like that. Can't remember exactly. And he's like, oh, what should I do to get enough fuel or something? You know, I could be wrong here. But then Natasha had said something, you know, make sure you get enough calories, eat rice if you have to. And Freelee blocked her. Freelee blocked Natasha for Natasha giving some helpful advice. So this guy's probably going to be like following Freelee, and his performance is going to tank. Might go up for a little bit, and then just poof. Why would it go up? Maybe because you're having fruit for breakfast instead of having rice. And rice, you know, for a breakfast meal, it's a bit heavy. So then you're eating fruit. You're like, wow, I feel better. This is the raw food power. No, it's just because it's easy to digest in the morning. You know, in the night time, you have it to wind down. You know, that's where my hyper drive comes from. I had a nap before. I'm not on any stims right now. It sounds like I am. But, you know, I had fruit for breakfast. fruit for lunch, I'm about to go smash some rice, and just like, chills me down. Most people go for dinner, they have some alcohol or Xanax or a Valium or a freaking sleeping pill. A lot of people do have that, you know, because they're having caffeine all day to wind up, and then need something to have to wind down. But fruit for breakfast, lunch, and then starches for dinner, it's the game change. And if you're lucky enough to live in a place where you can get really good fruit for dinner, you'll want to have fruit for dinner, because you'll be like, no thanks. If this was a meringue tree above me now, I had the best meringue in the world, I wouldn't have rice for dinner. Because I'm like, oh, meringue. Oh my God, this stuff is so good. Wouldn't need to, because I'd be able to get 3,000 or 4,000 calories out of meringue. Do you know how cool that would be? You know, versus trying to get it all from just bananas that, you know, I mean, these bananas are fantastic, but we'll smash through them. And then tomorrow, or in 2 days' time, they'll be gone. And then go back to, they might not have the same quality, you know, and then what do you do? So, what I do back in the day, just eat unripe bananas and have like 70 bananas a day and still not be totally satisfied, because it was like not enough nutrition in the bananas. But yeah, that's the deal there. It's hilarious, man. So don't be thinking that Freelee or anyone out there is doing all raw. They're not. They're not. Hang on. Anyway, where were we? That keeps slipping down. If you try and do raw food diet, don't. You know, if you don't live, I mean, if you live in an incredible area, the best food ever, you just, you know, boom, then you can do it. But I get 99% of people who do a raw food diet have an eating disorder. And then you got the 1%, some sort of challenge. And then so you got 0.5% is a challenge, and 0.5% there is like maybe some sort of health thing people are trying to chase. You can get the best results ever raw till 4, you know, because it's just like you can do it anywhere in the world, you know, and it's cheap, it's affordable, right? And the macros are the same. So again, this will create a lot of discussion, but at the end of the day, a lot of these raw food gurus, they don't care about you. You know, FIK don't care about you. Raw Rider don't care about you. Freelee doesn't care about you. You know what I mean? It's just about clout. It's just about, you know, how many free events will they put on? You know, like they don't want to meet you. They don't want to meet the fans. They don't. That's why they stay super private and super gated community and super like, I'm living where it's like super private. You know, they don't care. They want your money. They don't care, man, about the community. It's just about, it's about making the slice of raw pie bigger for themselves. 99% of them, right? There's a couple of people out there who are into raw food who are very genuine and sincere and that, but the people with some clout and stuff, I've never met anyone that I rate who's, you know, got maybe 100k or more subs on YouTube. I don't rate any of them as, you know, humanitarian people. I'm not saying they're evil. I mean, some of them are a bit. I'm just saying that there's this strong aesthetic drive and eating disorder eating sort of thing going on there, and that is, again, I get it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that that's what it is. And once you understand a banana's a banana, you know, that then you can have some clarity and direction in your life. So if your goal, what's your goal? If your goal is performance in life, you know, natty performance, you know, then I've got some advice for you. If your goal is to be able to travel the world and eat heartily and be super slim and feel great and have energy, have good sex and good hormones and good function, then my template's kind of for you, you know. If you just want to do some sort of challenge, you know, just do my template as a challenge. Why make life harder than it has to be? And yeah, so I'm not trying to sound arrogant or whatever, just purely talk from personal experience, because I was that dude back then where I'd be like reading some of these books and be thinking, yeah, but then again, it was probably for a couple of minutes, because I was like, Dave Wolf, these dudes are full of shit. Paul Neese, this is all just eating this sort of nonsense. Brett the and what's this, you know? I mean, I was a big fan of Doug Graham, and some of the stuff he does say is good, but even back then, I had his book Grain Damage, and he was saying, you know, white rice causes obesity, and I'd say to Doug, this is bullshit, dude. Like, what about Asia, man? China! China's on the phone saying, Doug, you're full of shit, rice can't cause obesity. Look at, you know, if I wanted to get, if I wanted to cast a movie of 1,000 slim 18 to 48-year-old or 80-year-old whatever women, I would just go on a plane, hypothetically, go to China, Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, wherever, Thailand especially, and just cast a movie of slim men and women who live on carbohydrate starches all day. So I was always one of those people who will call it out and say, come on, man, like, this is what you're saying is good, but this is absolute bullshit. You know what I mean? I wasn't afraid to say, oh. And that's why I had good success. And that's why people who follow my template have great success. And that's why we had Freelee when she was doing all raw with 73 kilos and then doing my template best ever. Right? So, anyway. But I think eating disorders and some people just stay a long time. You have to decide to say, crush it. You know, I always say performance first. You know, performance before weight. Because it doesn't matter what weight you are if you're a nightmare to be around. Or you've got no libido, or you're just a nightmare to be around. Even if you've got libido, if you're a nightmare to be around, if you're moody and it's like no one's going to want to hang around you people. It doesn't matter who you are. You know, I mean, they might want to vulture off you a bit, and you know, but who wants to be that person? You know, who wants to be that person who's just mood swinging all the time, coming down and freaking out, temper tantrums. You have to walk on banana skins around. Just be careful, don't want to crack the ice. Stuff like that, you know. So that's what happens to a lot of raw food people. They just become so touchy, man. Touchy. You know what I mean? Undercarb, man. Not just raw fooders, but anyone out there who's like, even the whole food vegan crew, like, not too much fruit. Don't eat white rice, it's not whole food. Why don't you cook something that's no longer whole food? If you're into whole foods. It's crazy. Don't do a smoothie. That's refined processed food. You know, those people, partners are really getting fed up and bored with them. They're no fun to be around. No excitement there. Just constant dramas in a bad way. That's the reality. That's the choice. Your life, your choice. Performance, for me, it's all about performance. It's all about performance. Not the mutant EPO, you know, insane performance. Like a sustainable performance. A performance is fun and it's sustainable and anyone can do it. That's what I'm about. The everyday person. You know, because we're everyday people at the end of the day. Just stop worshipping these people who don't give a fruit about you. All they want is just the money that you're going to offer them. Or the like, share, subscribe, whatever. That's all they care about. They see you on the street, a flat tyre, or whatever, they say, see ya. Pretend I didn't see you. Walk past you. That's 99% of them, alright? So don't worship them.